Well, here we are once again. Beyond Sight and Sound, Wednesday night, that time of the week. Some of us have waited all week, and now we're back together again, one big group, and holy cow, people are dropping into the chat. Man, there's already quite a few people in. I see, good grief, they're moving pretty quick here.
Hoover Boys?
Hoover Boys. Oh, Leighton. Leighton's in the house. Swansea, Ohio Relic Hunter. Past Pursuits. Cool Beans. I noticed him and Home Finder up in there too. So shouts out to everyone. Definitely appreciated everyone for dropping by, stopping in, seeing how things are going to roll here tonight. But you are in fact listening to Beyond Sight and Sound Metal Detecting and Treasure Hunting Radio for you, the always valued and appreciated listener. We are here. We are back. We are live. Thankfully, there are a number of storms going through the area, so hopefully we will be able to maintain a connection. The Dirt Bandit had hoped to attend tonight, but he is currently out of the picture right now. No internet. No power. Storms have knocked him off the grid. He's hopefully going to get the power back up soon, and if he does, maybe we will hear from the Dirt Bandit tonight as well. But he did want to make sure that the listeners knew. He called me right before the show. He's like, man, this just sucks. I've waited all week for this show. You've got a great guest lined up, and then just hour and a half before the show, bam, power goes out. It's just not fair. So let the listeners know, I want to be there, but Mother Nature is just being problematic. Certainly unfortunate. Hopefully he can make it, and if he can't, well, we are still keeping him and his family in our thoughts and supporting them in their rough time right now. Other than that, though, last week, Sam Waters. Man, what a firecracker of a guest.
Boy, she was.
Definitely some great information, and it was a good time. Very, very nice being able to sit down and speak with her. She's got a lot of passion and energy for the hobby, which is excellent. That's good. We do have some heavy construction going on nearby. Hopefully they have decided to call it a day so that we don't have that issue with noise. Who knows? You never know what's going to happen next around here. You got to stay on your toes. Always keep them guessing. But this week, if you've seen the promo, you know what's going on. If you haven't seen and you just make it a habit to tune in on Wednesdays, what a guest tonight. This could be very, very interesting. Tonight, we have actually got none other than Trooper Bry. We'll be able to do some discussion with him, talking shop, see what happens, have a good time, maybe take some calls, do our thing, and roll out for whatever may come next week. So with that in mind, we should probably get on to things and see just exactly what this Connecticut hunter has been up to. How is it going, Trooper Bry?
Good evening, Josh, and good evening, Kenny. Thanks for having me on tonight.
Hey, not a problem. Thanks for taking the time to sit down and talk with us. I suppose first off, you were hanging around YouTube a while, and then you fell in with the Stealth Diggers, great group of guys, and it seems like people really started taking notice then of Trooper Bry. I'm sure you had a good following yourself, but then once you got in with a great group of guys like that, it's like the chemistry was there. How did that all start for you? I mean, where did you get your start in the hobby? Were you maybe into detecting when you were younger, or just all of a sudden, hey, I think I'd like to try this?
That's going to be the latter choice there. Good friend of mine, 20 years, his girlfriend back in December of 2013, she went to Cabela's and she bought him one of those Bounty Hunter bundle packages, come with a bag and a cheap detector and the beginner's kit. I don't
Right.
remember what model it is. It's somewhere in January when it's cold out. He goes, "Oh, hey, check out what she got me." I'm not really interested in it. So he shows me this detector, and I'm like, "Oh, cool. Always wondered about these things." Winter goes on. I didn't think much of it. April comes, it starts warming up. That detector came back into my head. I bet that'd be a pretty cool thing to, give a shot. I'm into technical stuff, ham operator license, that type of thing. So I started watching the videos on YouTube. By now May's coming around, and I'm watching Dig Fellas, some of the guys that I've actually begun talking to. Obviously Charlie's videos I was seeing, his earlier stuff. Guys like Madison Maine, I think Todd Hiltz, I've seen his videos.
Great job with the videos. He does a very good job.
And he's got plenty of material to go by, too, because they hunted up Dr. Tones and Diggler, watching their videos back then.
Another great group of guys.
Finally, I'd had it. I said, all right, that's enough video. So by Memorial Weekend, I ordered up my Garrett Ace 350 and just started doing what everybody does, banging into parks and lawns and stuff like that. That's it. It's just a hobby I wanted to try.
Right. And then obviously you're, like you said, you're on YouTube, you're following these videos and everything. It's only the natural progression that you're commenting on the Stealth Digger videos. And you guys go ahead and, I guess apparently, set up a time to meet sometime and kind of continued rolling from there. How was that kind of the first experience actually meeting Stealth Diggers in person?
Well, that was very cool, and what led up to it actually was Charlie's video back in beginning of December. They did their cleanup parody, the video there where they all sat down in the shack and cleaned up their finds, and eventually J-Mo takes a sip of that relic juice he'd been dunking his coin in, and through one of the replies there, I told him, "Hey, you guys want some of the apple pie I make or whatever?" I don't remember the full conversation, so back and forth we went. I wound up sending him stuff. I think a month later, in the highly collectible episode, is when you see all those guys out in the woods there in the cold opening up that whole package. So by then we're getting a lot friendlier.
Right.
I think it was finally like a video or a week later where he had. At the end of the video, pulled the shirts out of the boxes, the Stealth Digger shirts that you see now.
Right.
And that's when I made the final comment about buying the Stealth Digger swag, this, that, and the other, and the exercise DVD, Live Free or Diet. I got an email from him since we had been going back and forth on email for addresses and stuff. He says, "Dude, you got to jump into the Stealth Diggers page on Facebook. I'll set you up, make you one of the admins. This is too funny." And that's how it got started. I mean, we just got along from the start. And,
and that's right. That's a good point. If I remember right, up till then, you were not even involved with Facebook at all.
Nope, I didn't join Facebook until January 17th. That's when that week after episode 65, when I did that whole spiel of Stealth Digger swag you could buy, like the lunchbox and thermos and the oven mitts and all that other crazy stuff. That's when he said, "Dude, you're too funny. You just got to get onto Facebook." And he's showing me the stuff that Kurt had made. Based on some of my comments. I'm like, shit, all right, I'm signing up. So January 17th was the day that I signed up and joined up the Stealth Diggers group.
Right. How can you turn down an invitation like that? You're going, "Man, I got to get involved in this. This is some funny stuff. These are some good guys."
I've never taken any of my hobbies seriously. I love fishing. But I've done some crazy stuff fishing. We've had catfish outings on an island. We've dragged one of those bamboo tiki bars and done these 48-hour stints out there and just caught catfish all night. I mean, that's how I like my sports. I'm a sociable guy. I like being outdoors. So that's the path I'm choosing. I really don't care if I've got 5 million viewers or 10,000 subscribers or anything like that. I'm just doing it to do it.
Right. Well, that's the way to do it. You got to have fun with it, relax a little bit, and most importantly, just enjoy it. Get out there and have a good time. And it sounds like you are certainly coming at it with the right mindset. How long, you mentioned you had a Ace 350. How long did you run that before you changed again, and why did you change?
The Ace 350 I got in time for Memorial Weekend last year, 2014. I ran that happily until probably the end of August, where I finally hit what I call the death park, where there was so many beer caps, flip tabs, you name it, under the grass there. The detector was just dang, dang. The bell tones on those Ace 350s. I almost chucked it in the woods that day. I really did. I said, that's it. I wanted something a little deeper. I wanted a little more technical detector. I'm kind of a techie.
So you're kind of going, I'm okay with bells and whistles, so let's upgrade.
Yeah, I'd rather learn into something than wear something out as fast as I did with the Ace 350. So I started poking around, and this is kind of whites country. I pursued, I think, 1 or 2 whites detectors that were just overpriced, and then a friend of mine finally sent me email, said, hey, my uncle's upgrading from a whites V3i to some sort of underwater detector. He just wants to stick with jewelry and beaches. It's $700, the wireless headphones. It came with some monster 18 by 15 coil, I think a D-Tech, and I snapped it up. That was on Labor Day, so I had it 3 months. I used the Ace 350 for 3 months.
Well, you can't beat the price on that V3i then. That sounds like you got a good deal.
I did, and it was a learning curve, only having 3 months under my belt.
Yes, it would be, and especially jumping to something like that from an Ace 350. As a former whites user myself, I used to run a DFX quite a bit, so I know how the settings can seem a little overwhelming to someone at first if you let it. Basically, don't overcomplicate it. Don't let the machine intimidate you.
If you're new with a machine like that, you're getting to the settings. Work one setting at a time. Don't go changing this and then go changing that a little bit and then change this a little bit. Because then if something happens, you're not going to sure which one of those settings that you just fiddled with. I haven't been making any big jumps with it. I've just been spent the past year getting used to it and finding out that, you can run it hotter. It's going to get a little crankier than it does on most days. I've come to really trust that detector and know that it can read as deep as I need it to, which can be up to a foot deep up here in New England.
And Past Pursuits looks like he's saying, yes, it's a big learning curve with the V3Is.
But I love it. I love the 3 frequencies. It's nice to have that there. It gives you a little more something besides the VDI to look at. VDI will tell you, sure, what you're really looking for, but then you obviously, when you dig it, you go, damn, bottle cap. On my detector, quarter is going to show up on one frequency. The bottle cap's going to show up on the other, even though they're ringing close to each other. So I can know. I know
right. Now, with your V3i, are you running all 3 frequencies, or have you found a preference for yourself for, say, the Connecticut area for the style of hunting you do?
I just run all 3 frequencies. I like to have it because buttons can ring up differently. There'll be, coins will ring up on the lower frequencies, and your buttons and then your irons tend to ring up on the higher frequencies. Mm-hmm. I mean, some iron will ring low, some will ring high. I think it depends on the alloy, but it's nice to have out in the woods. In the park, you can actually use those frequencies to tell the difference between a pull tab and an actual nickel. The middle and the upper frequency, depending on how close they are to each other, or which one's dominating, can help pick out a nickel from a pull tab. There's videos of that on YouTube for sure. I used, I think, a couple of those to help.
Right, which is always handy because there's way too many pull tabs out there. It'd be nice if we could go back in time and find out who released those pull tabs and anodized bottle caps and the foil Gatorade wrappers and tell them, knock that stuff off.
Yes, that is so true, Josh.
It gets terrible sometimes. It really does. Yeah, definitely. So you get the V3i, and apparently it seems to be working well for you. I've seen your videos. You've been making some decent finds. Here a while back, you got your first gold ring.
That was a surprise, just checking out a park, what used to be tobacco fields out here with tobacco barns. The town took over and turned it into a huge park, and it's got like some animals, little zoo for kids on one end. You got these huge, like the old tobacco fields. They're all wildflowers now, but they mow all these little walking paths in there, and you can go traveling through. And then there's a group of soccer fields, and it's in a pretty well-to-do town. So just on a whim one afternoon, I had a couple hours. I said, I want to go check that out, see if those fields are cleared or not. And of course, I get over there, and they weren't. So I just started poking around. And first target was real nice. I think it was like a 1916 Wheatie. I mean, I wouldn't
nice.
2 minutes.
Good early wheat.
Poked around some more, got a lot of the usual trash, poked around the barns, digging a lot of old, farm trash from back when they were doing tobacco. And so finally on the walk out, shortcutting through the soccer fields, and soccer fields are great places to find jewelry. They're the perfect place, actually, because people running around, and it's a physical sport, so.
Right.
About 2/3 of the way through the soccer field, here comes this goofball tone. Pretty solid and consistent, though, so up it's coming.
Right.
Like Kurt says, dig it all, especially when it's consistent from every direction. And it was a shocker at first. I'm looking at it going, it's a gold ring? Did I do
is
it?
that what I think it is?
After a million pull tabs.
Right, and you're always kind of, oh, it can't be. And then you look, and then you look again, and... But it was definitely a nice surprise, I'm sure, and that's usually how it happens. It comes up when you least expect it. But once you hit that gold ring like that, it makes all those pull tabs before worth it.
I don't even remember what the VDI was. I just knew it was something solid, and it was just a number that isn't common with most of your typical park finds. So I says, yeah, it's coming up.
Right, you're going, what is this? Well, there's only one way to find out. You gotta dig it up and see.
My detector one day and remember what the VDI number was.
Yeah, that way if you run across it again, maybe you'll have a better idea going, hey, I think this could be. Because unfortunately, there's a lot more bling jewelry out there to be found than there is the good jewelry.
Yeah, I found a few of those.
Right.
5 or 6. I haven't caught a ton of rings.
But you're still enjoying the hobby, and that's the important part. Now, with your area, you seem to be hunting primarily fields, parks, home sites, stuff like that. Is that what you do? Farm sites, fields, things like that. That seems to be working very well for you. You seem to be making some nice finds. Have you been fairly satisfied with what you've been doing in the hobby?
As far as my first year into detecting, I think I've done pretty good. I'm not sure what your average user gets. I only really get out once a week, too. It's not like I can get out 2-3 times a week. And it was the first year. I mean, you had to learn your detector twice, learn how to be a lawn surgeon. That way you can start working on those permissions. I mean, I have no real super ambitious goals yet. You know, I just, like I said, I enjoy the hobby. I want to try as much as I can. But as far as what I'd like to detect, yeah, I'm in a good area. This town's got houses that date as old as the 1730s.
Nice.
I had meant to be, this year was supposed to be my year of permissions, but it seems like this is my year of traveling. I've done a bunch of road trips, invites from other people and whatnot.
Yeah, you've been up to visit the Stealth Diggers a couple of times. You've been out with Todd and Dave. Seems like you're having a good time with it.
Yep. Dan LaMontagne is good friends with Todd and Dave and done plenty of hunts with them. So when I started hunting with them this year, he's hooked up for a couple. They've got sites to check out. Dan's got a couple sites to check out, and we just wound up hooking up for a few weeks there, which was very nice. It's nice to see how these guys work in the woods and really have their eye to the ground looking for those spots.
Oh yeah, I mean it's good to get out with some other hunters sometimes, especially coming into the hobby relatively new, because you've got year and a half maybe,
15 months just coming around.
Okay. Sometimes just coming into the hobby like that, you find yourself kind of second guessing sometimes, going, well, this is what works for me, but is that what the other hunters do? How do they do it? And sometimes it's nice to get out with some of these other hunters just to see. Plus, you can't beat the fellowship or the camaraderie and stuff like that. So, with your time in the hobby, you're having a good time with it. Not necessarily any sort of bucket list or anything, or do you find that you even have a bucket list?
I've got so much in New England that can be on a bucket list. I mean, I've gotten my 2 King George II halfpences. One's a real one, one's a counterfeit. I've gotten
nice.
Silver. I still have yet to get a large cent. I got a really toasted Connecticut copper. I think that we identified as 1786 or 1787. I forget.
Very nice.
But I can't seem to find a large cent, a simple large cent.
Wow.
There's just a ton of different coins you'd like to find up here, a lot of personal items.
Right, so you're kind of going, for me, it's a smorgasbord. I'll have one of everything.
I would. I'd like to have an assortment of everything. I mean, I like the personal items. I mean, coins are cool, but when you dig up buttons and buckles and other stuff like that, they have these ornate details on them. It's just, to think of how they lived back then, to have that,
That is something I have noticed with your videos. You do, we all like to find coins, but you seem to be very interested in recovering the buttons, buckles, stuff like that, and you have found quite a number of buttons.
Yep, they're personal item. Most personal item, obviously, is clothing, and the buttons are cool to find. Most of them are from the 1800s, early to mid 1800s. But finding those dandies here and there are always real nice. That was my first button I found was a nice big colonial dandy.
Oh wow, what a way to start off!
Yeah,
that's a very nice find for your first button. You are definitely in a good area, that's for sure.
That was a little over a year ago with I think, 2 months into the Ace 350, and that was Dan LaMontagne, since he lives close to me. He's the one who adopted me into cellar hole hunting when I discovered the American Detectorist website that
Right.
they hunt. There's a bunch of good Connecticut guys on there. Todd, Dave, Dan, and some other guys I've detected with are all here in Connecticut. It's kind of the opposite of what I do with the stealth diggers and the forums and goof off a lot. That's more of my little serious side where I post up. But Dan took me under his wing real early on and showed me some cellar holes, and that's where I got my first colonial find, and where I said, man, this is really cool.
Now, is that something where they just, they contacted you, kind of put the invite out, and you're going, cellar hole hunting? Yeah, sure, I'll try anything once.
It's exactly what it is. He's one of the admins over on American Detectorist, and I introduced myself. Hi, I'm Trooper Brian from Ellington, new to detecting, told to come over here from Friendly Forums, said there was a bunch of guys in the area, and he was right. There were some good guys in the area, and that's when Dan offered to say, hey, you want to go check out the cellar hole sometime? Let me know when we'll set up a day. And we went a couple towns up, and they're usually pretty picked out, but I found a little something even on my first time out in the cellar hole. I think I got a nice little round ball out of a musket.
Right. Now, did you find that you prefer maybe cellar hole hunting as opposed to park hunting or something like that?
I do. As far as the really interesting part, I can go to a park and bang out, plaid and coins and stuff like that. I have gotten a love for the woods there. I'm out of the sun. I'm kind of a ginger kid like Kurt, so I can only take a couple hours of sun, and then I gotta hide. But I do like it. I've done plenty of hiking too, hiking and mountain biking. So being in the woods is like second to me already.
Yeah, that is kind of the nice side effect of this hobby, is all the exercise you get. Because a lot of people don't even realize how much we are walking around until we're done at the end of the day, and man, I'm a little sore, or I'm a little beat, or something like that.
No, and that's the thing. Most of the time, the woods are not easy to hike through. Granted, there's a nice side where parks. I'm going to get more silver. I'm going to get more of this, more of that. That's where all my valuable finds, I guess, ones you can put monetary numbers on, would come from a park. Obviously, I'm not knocking parks. I'm still only a year into it or so. I'll still hit a park.
Right.
Yeah, there's just that whole thing of coming across walls and finally seeing the hole and just wondering what's down there, what people left behind from when they were living. It's
right. Yeah, that's certainly understandable. Entirely understandable. Chris, have you noticed anybody in the chat mentioning any comments or questions?
Yeah, well, Past Pursuits asked a good question.
Okay.
How did you get the name Trooper Brian?
All right. So back in 2002, I was really getting into fishing. I'd been out doing some river fishing. I think I'd done a trip out into the Long Island Sound here, out in Connecticut. But ice fishing really started getting my attention. I started seeing some website, ctfisherman.com, which I eventually joined. I taking a look at these guys out, having these parties on the ice. It's like, all right, they're cooking, they're fishing. That looks fun. I joined my buddy Ron for a trip up there, and what came to be a really good friend, Hillbilly Mike. As soon as I got out up the ramp there, getting ready to get my stuff out, here comes this big lumberjack of a guy. Hey, you gotta be Bry. You look like a state cop. I'm gonna call you Trooper Bry. Hey, how you doing, Mike? Come on, let's go out and meet my friends. So there's all these shacks set up in the ice, and apparently fishermen drink maybe a little, and I think a few fishermen were smoking out there too, because Mike's pretty loud. He's a pretty loud big guy, so he's running around these shacks, or we're walking around these shacks going, hey everybody, hey Jim, come on out, meet Trooper Bry. And you hear people fumbling, putting stuff away, knocking stuff over.
Right, going, oh, hold on, I wasn't doing anything.
People poking their heads out the shack doors, seeing if it's really cops out there. And we walked around on the ice for about 15 minutes or so doing that, because he knows everybody up in his area. And that was it. I signed up on that website as Trooper Brian. That has been my nickname for the past, 13 years.
Well, I can see where it can certainly make people kind of wonder, and I guess seeing, some of your videos, you do kind of have that look about you, I guess. Not to stereotype or anything, but I'm sure that makes for some very interesting remarks at times. Probably get a kick out of seeing people jump and, I wasn't doing anything.
Oh God, that was funny that day. We were laughing so hard.
Yeah, Leighton had a good question. He says, "Do you grid your area or just go at random, just everywhere?" when you go
Good question.
like a certain spot? You grid the area off, or
Certain places, woods. It depends sometimes on where I'm at and how I'm feeling. If I'm doing like lawns or that small field that I have on video that I did earlier in the spring there, that field I was gridding out, and the yard I'm going to grid out, walking lines one way, and then eventually I have to walk them the other.
mm-hmm.
Sometimes in the woods, I won't grid out an area. You know, you kind of, I forget what Charlie calls it when Keeler does it. I think revolving in orbit around the cellar hole.
Mhm.
I tend to poke around. I don't run any discrimination on the V3i. I'm listening to all 190 tones just because I want to hear them. And I want to start hearing stuff out there. And if I start finding something away from the cellar hole, I will poke around for a while and start working the area. That's in one of my other videos. I told you near the edge of a stone wall, I started hearing nails going down a slope, and that's where I started picking out those buckles. Must have been part of like a little field shack or a little outbuilding. And if that doesn't work, then I'm going to start tightening it up and doing that. But I've done pretty good.
Yeah, it's good to listen for everything like that, because oftentimes you start hitting those nails and stuff, it'll lead you somewhere. There was occupation, there was activity.
Yeah, obviously, depending on the area you're working, if you're out in the woods, you're obviously looking for those areas of travel between the house and the barn or the house and the well, and everything's so beat up in this area for the most part that you really have to start focusing away from the holes. So that's what a lot of the times what they're doing is we're orbiting or wandering around. Maybe even we're just walking lines and walking a small, not so tight grid. We're just trying to cover an area and see where potentially something could be. And on one of those hunts with Todd and Dave, I finally found a little area, I think on the back side of the house, that just popped up a few little, just common flat buttons, not anything special, but just that one little area in like a 20 square foot area, 3 buttons. And I move around and keep going. It's play it by ear.
Nothing wrong with that at all.
Well, I tell you, I like watching you guys hunt the cellar holes because, of course, down here in Texas, I mean, you don't have cellars down here, so it's really interesting. I mean, to me, I would love to come up there and hunt one of those cellar holes just to say I did it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And it looks like Kurt's in the house and he's going on about, and Trooper Bry even drives a cop car.
Yep.
That's a coincidence. Back in 2011, when my Mercury Sable was getting on in miles, I started looking for cars, and I just happened to see that on the side of the road. I'm not a Crown Vic guy. You wouldn't catch me dead in a Crown Vic, but those have enough modifications to them. And it was a very gently used state police car here in Connecticut. There's, you get the ones that they tend to beat up on more, and then you get the detective ones that get gently used. And some guy had managed to get hold of a gently used one. He thought it was worth $1 million, but it was just a daily driver I got for I think $3,200, 96,000 miles on it. I've been in automotive most of my life, so I know how to pick through a car and see what's happened to it, what's been done to it, and it made the list. So that was pure coincidence. That wasn't intended.
Well, it's funny how things kind of come together sometimes.
But it is a fun car to drive. It spooks some people.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. Get up behind them, watch them slow down, and start watching their rearview mirror.
Yeah, it's a blessing and a curse. Sometimes you just want to go, and they're like, is that a cop behind me? I better do the speed limit.
Yeah, and you're going, would you move? Come on, get out the way. I'm on my way to see the stealth diggers. I got items to dig. Come on. If anybody does have questions or comments that they would like to call in about, I guess we should probably make sure that they know the phone lines are open. So that is 419-549-5744. If you've got any comments, questions, anything like that for Bry. Another thing is, I gotta ask. Oh my, we've got a caller coming in. Go ahead, caller.
Hey, what's going on? Kurt, dude, boys.
What's up, buddy?
What's going on?
Nothing.
Not a whole lot.
It's Friday night for me, and it's a Wednesday night here.
Awesome. Everybody always asks, like, what's your, best find, or what's the thing you like finding the most? What really pisses you off when you dig it up? What really just angers you? Like, why is there another one of these? That's what.
Oh, that's easy. Shotgun shell.
I figured.
Shotgun shell. Because you're not
going,
going to
oh, shotgun wing got me again.
But
yeah, I guess in the woods that's about right.
They do. The frequency that they hit on my V3i and the VDI they give up, it's right there in button land. I can't not dig that thing. I know it's 2.5 inches deep and there's 3 inches of leaves. I know chances are it's going to be a shotgun shell, but you're not going to not dig it. Not out in the woods. There's very few
Yeah.
VI signals above 0 that I will not dig.
Whitman Wholesaler Hall got a perfect shotgun tail Wayne signal and take the dirt away and a gold ring stuck in my fingers, so you gotta dig them.
Oh yeah, that's right. I remember that video.
He
How
walked around
cool
that
was
thing on his
that?
finger 2 hours, I think.
Of course, I'm sure that may have kind of frustrated JMO a bit.
Oh, Chambers okay with it. He probably planted his corner, so you know.
I did see the rings. That was the day before I got up there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I couldn't take it off because Charlie said I'd blow up if I took it off. No, Keebler said I'd blow up if I took it off.
See, now I figured, Kurt'd have something silly like, when Trooper Bry's out in the woods hunting, how many trees can he take down with a herring? But speaking of which, though, the kind of oddball questions and such, how is the Spoon relocation project going?
Not good. I'm living out of the car. Investing my life savings in relocating Spoon is a terrible, terrible idea. And if anybody else is out there thinking of doing it, don't. I'm also looking for a place to live cheap for a while.
There you go. If anybody's got a place to help out.
First Capital Dig, I see, asked the recipe of the Trooper Bry Trucker Bomb, and now that it's apple season, I'm going to post the recipe on Stealth Figures. I think I said I was going to do that, but if anybody wants the recipe for Trooper Bry's apple pie, I'll post it up there if I haven't already. I forget if I did or didn't.
Awesome. 847, you're on the air. Who do we have?
Hey, buddy, it's Craig Stryker. How are you tonight?
Ah, how's it going?
Hello, Craig.
Hey, Trooper Bry, how are you, sir?
Good. How are you tonight?
I'm doing really good. I was not really a question. I was just I've seen a bunch of your videos, and Josh knows I'm living in Illinois now, but I'm originally from Maine, and became friends with Swansea and by phone. Quite a character, and I've seen a couple of videos with him and you guys do a great job on the videos, and I'm threatening Swansea. I'm going to go up there this fall, so I'm hoping. Like hell, maybe I can get together with you guys and we can do some detecting. I think that would be a blast.
I'm up for it. I've got the invite to stay in at Charlie's pretty much any time I want when I want to go up there, and I'm on a 4-day schedule, so the chances of us meeting up are probably pretty good. And yeah, Brandon's a real nice guy. I had a fun time hanging out with him at the Bone event back in April.
Yeah,
Right.
He's a character. He's working on a dishwasher type metal detector right now, I guess, when I talked to him earlier tonight. So he was having trouble with his dishwasher, and it's like, do you want to convert it? Something that would dig it and clean the fines.
Right.
But anyway, I just want to say, great job on the videos, and hopefully, get up there and see Swansea up there, and maybe hook up with you guys. That would just be fantastic.
Thank you. Yeah, definitely let us know when you're heading up that way. We're always looking to get a bunch of people together for a fun day. Thanks for great videos.
Yeah,
That'd be great.
absolutely. I agree.
Yeah, and as usual, buddy, great show.
Oh, well, thank you.
Well, you're very welcome, sir.
Figured Bry would definitely make for an interesting guest. I think he was a little surprised when I contacted him.
I was very surprised. You get some pretty good guests on there, and humble old me got on.
Yeah, I keep mentioning one of these days I'm going to have to try to figure out how to get on here.
Oh, well, yeah, Swansea and I can have you on the show as a guest.
Yeah,
Yeah.
see?
Just trade up and we'll put you on the hot seat. And
Right. 603, you're on the air. Who do we have?
It's JMO.
Uh-oh.
How you doing, guys?
What's going on, Cartman?
You like that?
That was hilarious. I saw that like 5 o'clock this morning. I'm spitting coffee all over the place.
That guy is pretty creative with his stuff, let me tell you.
Yeah, he's got the hand for it. I think we're going to throw Kurt out and we're going to replace him.
I'm done. I need to be
Did you see how hot I looked when he made me, what's his name there, Spartan?
That was awesome. He's a very creative person.
So I got a question for you, Bri.
Yes, sir.
I know we all know everybody that was up here when you came up for the event and everything, but you got to let everybody else know how you got your New Hampshire pinstripe on your car.
Uh-oh, that sounds like a story.
Oh, you're mean, Jay.
Love you, buddy.
So first accident I can I've ever been in recent memory that wasn't my fault. I think I might have caused a car accident when I was 19 back in the 80s or something.
Oh, okay, because I was just going to say, notice he said the first one that he's been in recently that wasn't his fault.
I've been hit so many times I can't count it. If I had sued all those people, I'd be a millionaire.
Well, that helped the Spoon Project.
If you've ever been to some of these little screwball towns up in New England, the road system there is ridiculous. It's made up of rotaries and side roads and whatnot. And Keene's got these little shopping communities. So on both sides of the road, there's these parking spaces and a road. So I'm going down the middle of it, and me and Bearden are looking for spots. He's looking on one side, I'm looking on the other. I go, oh, hey, there's a spot over here. So I turn left to pull into a parking spot, and kapow! Right in my driver's door at like 4 or 5 miles an hour. A little Subaru.
Wow.
Apparently they don't paint the roads, put lines and stuff in New Hampshire. What I thought was just a single lane road between, angled parking spots on a one-way road was actually 2 lanes. And I had no idea that there was some woman trying to squeeze her way up on my left. I was in the middle of the 2 lanes, and they're skinny, so yeah.
Wow. So it sounds like you guys have got some odd road systems up there, Jay.
Well, what you don't realize until you live up here for a little while is they do paint the lines in the road. They just get plowed up every winter.
And it was that April? That was barely ice out up there, and there literally was no line down the middle of the road to tell me that I was in 2 lanes. I just thought it was a 1-lane road, one way,
right,
just to squeeze in for parking. But no big wiggle.
Yeah, I guess all the, like Jay said, all the snow plowing and stuff, or you had even mentioned it probably just scrapes it all right up.
Yeah, I've got no problem on squiggly, weird New England rotary roads. I've been driving them all my life. It's when they stop painting the lines on them that gets confusing.
Right. Yeah, that's certainly understandable. Definitely.
All right, well, I'm going to give up the line to somebody else. You guys have a good night. Good talking to you, Bryce. See you, Josh.
Hey, see you, Jay. Thanks for the call. And we do still have everyone else on board. As far as what you have done in the hobby in the last 15 months, any interesting goals or aspirations that you may like to hit before the end of the year?
I got to think about that. I just, as long as I keep getting out, getting different digs, as long as I'm doing that, I'm happy. I just, as far as a goal goes, I'm not too sure I've made any goals for myself. If it's a hobby, I'm not going to plant any deep, serious goals. Obviously, I want to get out and I want to try different things, meet people. Those are my goals, is to get out and detect with different people, try different things.
Well, there you go. That's a great way to look at it.
That is real good.
Try a beach hunt. I mean, Connecticut's a great state for detecting. I mean, we can go down and do the beaches. We got plenty of lakes. We can go up the hills.
Now, have you tried any beach hunting or, maybe shallow water hunting?
I haven't yet. Most of the lakes in Connecticut are tied up with private beaches and whatnot, and some of them are tough to get at. One of these days, maybe I'll putter down to the shoreline and give that a shot.
I see. So basically, you are staying very open-minded. Try anything once, in a sense, so to speak.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, same thing with fishing. I never tied myself to being either a bass fisherman specifically or somebody who just fish for perch all day. I mean, it's fun to try a little bit of everything.
Right.
So that's my goal, just to get it all, a little something of everything.
Right. So you're just kind of going, well, I got into the hobby to dig. I like to recover the history. I'll try anything once, but most importantly, I'm going to get out there, have fun with it, and enjoy it.
Research is something I need to definitely work harder on. I know how to look on Google Earth and find the falls, but it's really tough to see a wall or whatnot on Google Earth and figure out if there's any type of site associated with that. What was that, a badger?
I don't know. It's hard to say.
I saw that.
Maybe Sam Squanch is fooling around.
Sam Squanch is in behind you there. But the research is, I would say, if I had a goal, now that I've had a minute to think about it, learning how to identify a cellar hole from just a series of walls. I'm not sure how they do it. Obviously you got to find the access, look your GIS mapping up, and compare it with other maps. Dan's been nice enough to get me started down that road, but it's tough just using that, being new, to actually figure out if that's a settlement or just some walls.
Well, and that's something that I'm sure will come with time in the field. You'll become more keen to subtle little details.
I guess same thing with permissions. getting comfortable knocking on people's doors and running that spiel.
Right. We actually did a show a while back on permissions and stuff. It's a little overwhelming for some people at first. They're, oh, what if they say no, and they worry about it. But really, if they say no, what are you out? You didn't lose anything. Maybe a little bit of your time.
Yep, that's about it. I had hobby cards made up over the winter, and they have worked. I've gotten, I think, 2 or 3 permissions from them.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, well, it's a foot in the door. If you're going to bother knocking on somebody's door, at least go, thanks for considering it. If you change your mind.
Yeah, here's my card. Give me a call.
And I've got, basically information that says lost valuables and rings found, free of charge, and disclaimer on the back about, the proper way to dig.
Right. Now, is this something maybe with handing out your cards like that? If you ever had a place that you stopped at, maybe they were a little apprehensive at first or a little leery, and you just thought, well, thanks for your time. Here's my card if you change your mind, and you find that they do actually call you later down the road?
I've gotten 2 cards that I handed out. Because up here you get tag sales, and you get these tag sales at these nice older homes. So I've stopped it there. You buy a 50-cent item and start yapping with a homeowner. And while I'm doing that, I'm going, I love the house. I love this. Here's my card. If you ever wonder what's in, what type of history is underneath your lawn, I'd love to come dig it up. You hand them the card. I don't know. I'm not that aggressive with permissions yet. I've still got to get a feel for that as well. It'll all come around.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. I mean, you seem to be doing well the path that you're going on anyway, so it'll all come together for you. You certainly have the right mindset about it. You're just out there having a good time and all of that. With the finds that you have made, what's Trooper Brian do with his finds? Does he just throw them in a box? Does he put them in a display? Maybe leave them on the back seat of the car in the finds pouch?
No. Most of my finds, I clean up the best that I can. I don't dig a ton of them, so it's not too hard to poke around with them from week to week. I've got those clear tackle boxes. I don't know what they are, like a foot by whatever, 18 inches or 8 inches by 12, I forget. There's a tackle box stack. You open the lid and you can partition them. I've got probably 4 or 5 of those that I segregate my good finds into. Some other junk and other stuff like spoons. I just throw those in the boxes, like you said, but my good stuff I've started collecting, and I've got to get some boxes together, some shadow boxes and displays and start doing it. I've finally got enough buttons and stuff. At least I can make a little display of those.
Oh yeah, I mean your cover photo on Facebook, you've got quite a number of buttons and stuff there. It even appears at the beginning of your videos. You're starting to get quite a little pile of them.
That was a photo collage. I forget where I took that. I think I took that photo just to make the header banner picture when I set up my Trooper Bry YouTube account. That was probably late December, early January, and that was pretty much a culmination of all my good finds from that first 8 months of detecting, or 7 months, or whatever it was. I just laid them out real pretty a few different ways and took a ton of pictures, and after culling through 50 photographs, that was the one that looked the best.
Well, it did turn out very well, I thought. Very good quality picture, very crisp, and a lot of detail in it.
That's the other thing I work on, is taking good close-ups of pictures, is to catch the detail on them. So a lot of different lighting situations. When I find my Galaxy S5 that I do most of my pictures and all my video on, it simply does not like fluorescent lighting. It turns out that crazy cool blue color.
Right.
If it doesn't get enough lighting from the fluorescence, you wind up with that weird, I don't know, is it like an orangey tint to your pictures. I found an old lamp. I love my old lamp, and found some incandescent bulbs in situations where I can get those good pictures with that. I'll take 20, 30 pictures of an item before I find that one good one. I mean, it's just digital. It's not like you're buying film anymore.
Exactly. That's understandable. We are joined by Swansea. How's it going, sir?
I'm doing well, Josh. How are you?
All right.
Hello, Brandon.
Hello, Trooper Bride. How are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing fine. How are you?
Great. I just have a quick question for you. After making a trip up from Connecticut to New Hampshire, have you changed your perspective on what you're looking for while metal detecting, whether it be a farm field, whether it be a cellar hole? Have you changed what you're looking for in the aspects of where you're going to what you think you can find?
Good question.
As far as, what do you mean, as far as like demographics, as far as the digging?
Correct, yes.
Yeah, I always change my mindset a little bit depending on what types of areas I'm detecting and what I might and might not dig. if that's what you get at.
Oh, he must have got cut off. Well, and we do have storms rolling through various areas, so that could have a little bit to do with it.
He must have. No, there's no rain up in New Hampshire tonight. We're clear up New England. It just dropped. Was I getting the context of that question? I didn't want to miss the context as far as. I'm not sure if he was asking about the strategy of the hunt, depending on the location.
Yeah, I think that's kind of what he was going for, was, you know, whether you find yourself looking at the potential hunt area from a different perspective, like, oh, maybe I should check over here, maybe I should check over there, you know, just finding that you look at the lay of the land a little differently, or maybe you come into a location going, this could be productive as far as finds of this type. Maybe I'm going to find some cool old buttons or something like that.
Yeah, a lot of that I'm still learning from Dan. He's the one who's really showing me how to look, how the sites that you find out in the woods are laid out, where it started as a cabin and then was eventually shifted to a cellar hole, what you'll find around these cellar holes, maybe depending on how much they're developed. I've got relatively few hunts as far as that goes, so this is all pretty much new to me compared to some of these guys that have probably done a lot more cellar hole hunting than I have.
Right. Well, you are definitely in good hands, though, with the knowledge base of the people that you're hunting with. Like you said, Dan, Dave, Todd, the Stealth Diggers. You're in with a great bunch of guys. As far as the knowledge and information goes, you're going to pick up a lot.
Yep. Keebler is very good to watch as well. He's another one that's fantastic at seeing the signs. Obviously, hunting with him and Charlie. If you see Keebler driving in reverse, there's a very good reason. He's like an owl. Around comes the neck. He saw something. Backing on up, there's a cellar hole.
Oh, yeah. 847, you're on the air. Who do we have?
Here we go. It's Greg Stryker again.
Oh.
No, I was reading the text. I guess Swan's lost some reception, but for Trooper Buck Bry, I think what he's typing in, he goes, he wanted to know what he looks for based on a cellar hole or a field. That was his question.
Well, in a field, I would expect to find more farmy implementy stuff, maybe more oddball pieces, space junk as it's referred to, as opposed to the cellar holes. I attack them different ways, obviously. Fields, I'm going to work in more of a pattern, and you never know in Connecticut with these fields.
Right, so you do find that depending on the type of area that you're hunting, you're already developing a different strategy for that type of area then.
Yeah.
Certainly nothing wrong with that. And ultimately, in the end of it all, you just have to kind of find what works for you. What works for you may not work for the next person so well, but as long as it works for you, that's the important part.
You know what? This early in the game, I want to know how other people hunt. I'm very curious how other people hunt and how they take up their strategies, because, I mean, a year in metal detecting is nothing. I'm 46 years old. I got to cram this stuff in before I get a knee that explodes or whatever happens.
Yeah, you're going, I'm kind of behind the 8 ball here. I've got a lot of time to make up for.
Also, a question out there for you, Trooper Bry, since I'm pushing 55. I've been detecting about 28 years, but usually I don't know. I think this is a pretty good question. Sometimes is when you're swinging that detector, what is the one thing out of everything that you want to find or that you've been looking for? Like when you hit it and you see it in the hole and like, oh shit.
Yeah, going, yes, I knew it was here.
Yeah.
What, a good item or a bad item?
Doesn't matter, your choice.
As far as a good item, I mean, anything buckles, colonial related, those are the ones I'm really looking for.
I mean, like a certain type of buckle, like if you like a buckle that'll say, U.S. on it, or, see what I'm getting at? It's like something you haven't found yet, but you're really dying to find.
I don't know how much of the military finds up here we get. We get some buttons and the occasional plates. I would love to find something military related, but I'm really tagged in on a lot of the colonial stuff. I enjoy finding that. Shoe buckles are great, knee buckles, sash buckles, those type of things. I always love to see in a hole, even a broken one, an incomplete one.
Yeah,
Right.
possible. That's what I was talking about. It's like, I'm really anxious to do that because, up here, the silver, the occasional ring, obviously, nothing colonial. I'm sure I'm going to find something that you guys have found 1,000 of, and I'm just going to go nuts because it'll be my first one, so.
Right. Of course, that does bring up another good question, I guess. With you hunting so many different types of sights, do you find that you go back to a different coil for a certain type of sight, or do you find that you just stick primarily with one generalized coil?
I've only got the original 10-inch double D stock coil for the V3i. So
Okay.
if I have to play around in heavy nails or in a cellar hole or on the edge of a cellar hole or a park, yeah, I'm kind of porked in that department. I haven't gone out and got a smaller shooter coil for the 3i yet.
Well, that D2 is a nice coil.
But it's picked some stuff out through the nails. That really tiny blue stone button that I got when we went up for the Charlie's Big Dig there.
Right.
I was amazed to pick that VDI out of a bunch of nails. It just kept coming back.
Oh, yeah. You can...
Do you still use your H350 for a backup detector, or do you have a different backup detector?
About a month ago, a real good deal came across the table for a very lightly used White's MXT, just the regular MXT, not the Pro, for $300.
That was my first one. That's a great machine.
I love it. It takes everything's compatible on it. The batteries and the coil I could technically swap between the both machines. I was wondering how hard it's going to be to learn it, pick it up and use it. It's like the Whites. All the VDI numbers are there. It just sounds different.
Yeah, I was going to say, for you already running a V3i, that probably wasn't much of an adjustment period at all for you.
No. And
I think where I went wrong is I went to a DFX after that, and I didn't know you had to get the owner's manual and a King James Bible just to learn how to turn the thing on. I mean, when you read the DFX manual, and I don't know what the V3i has. I'd love to swing one. I never have. But, 290 tones. I mean, really?
I mean, when you see that, like you were saying, you're just like totally overwhelmed.
Yeah, there's not much on the V3i that you cannot adjust. I think I can assign different tones for all 190 VDI numbers.
That's right.
Yeah, that would drive you crazy.
It can have its advantages, though.
Yeah, no. But I've only seen the machine. I've never swung it, but I'd love to. I use a Fisher F75. And
nice relic machine.
I went through a lot of them. I still use the AT Pro occasionally. I'm actually very interested in the White's Treasure Hunter Pro for like a backup. I've been hearing some really good things about those.
Yeah, I know Dominique was pretty impressed with that one she was working with.
I'm stunned that they only take 2 AA batteries. That's 3 volts.
I know, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's nuts.
I'm lugging around 8.
Right, exactly. Same here. When I've got batteries in it, it's got 8 of them.
Well, guys, thanks for taking my call again. I really appreciate it. So I'm going to back out here in case someone else is trying to get through.
All right. Thanks for the call. And thanks for elaborating more on Swansea's question since he lost reception.
I was just trying to help him out. He said no signal, no nothing. He said his phone died.
Yeah, I saw that in the chat there.
That's unfortunate.
He's going to have to pedal faster on that generator, I think, to get that power, for that Android to stay connected. So.
Yeah. Maybe get the dog involved.
Thanks, guys.
Yep. We'll see you. But we are getting near the end of our rope. I guess if you would like to let people know where to find you, maybe YouTube channel, the American Detectorist Group, and even some, if somebody were to be coming into the hobby, any words of encouragement or recommendation you'd have for them?
Same as Kurt. Dig it all. Learn your machine by digging it all. I just sold that Ace 350 this week since he asked the question, and the guy was brand new, and I spent an hour with him in a local park here, give him an idea what to look for as far as what the machine's telling him. It was a crash course, but I told him make sure you dig everything, learn your detector. You're not going to enjoy the hobby until you learn your detector.
That's right. That's a very good point, because
that is so true.
You will become frustrated if you allow yourself to. You have to spend that time with the machine, and then once you hit that breakthrough, so to speak, where you start to making some better finds, and you realize then all of a sudden one day, hey, I am out here finding some good targets, then you find that the hobby does become much more enjoyable for you.
Yep, just like any other hobby. You got to put your time in, and then you get rewarded.
Right, paying your dues, so to speak.
As far as where you can find me, obviously you can find me in the Stealth Diggers group on Facebook. Trooper Brian YouTube, and the website that got me really hooked on detecting, AmericanDetectorist.com. There's a great group of guys all in the United States and overseas that post a lot of great finds there. It's the more serious side of detecting. It's a smallish page, and it's a great place to post your stuff and learn. I'll always be on that site as long as I'm in detecting.
I guess that would bring up one more parting question, would be, you're enjoying yourself so far? It sounds like you're hooked. Do you see yourself getting out of it anytime soon? Or are you in it for the long haul?
I'm in it as long as I can. I still enjoy fishing as well as detecting now. I don't plan on giving up anytime soon. I love being outdoors.
Very nice. Well, we certainly appreciate the time that you've spent sitting down, chatting with us, talking shop. For those who have dropped in, called in, any of that, we definitely appreciate the support. We appreciate the listeners. If you enjoyed the show, by all means, like, rate the channel, throw us some stars, click the pink hands, yada yada, you know the drill. Other than that, hang in there with me, guys, and we'll be back next week.